Good afternoon, everyone. It is Wednesday, May 8th, approaching 3:45 p.m., and welcome into an update here on the severe weather event and the severe weather activity that we are seeing across portions of the state this afternoon. And we do have quite a bit of severe thunderstorms occurring across southern Illinois this afternoon, with a couple of different tornado warnings in effect as well down there. And the two tornado warnings that are currently in effect are, first of all, for portions of Williamson County until 4 p.m., and there is also a tornado warning for Pope County until 4:15 p.m. So we have two different supercell structured storms here. One to the south, this is Pope County. One to the north, that one is for Williamson County, and both of those storms are showing signs of rotation, and they both have tornado warnings. Now, looking at the radar wind velocities on both of these storms, neither of them are overly impressive right at this moment in time here. There is a little bit of broad, weak rotation. That would be down here just to the south of Eddyville, just to the north of Brownfield. That's down there in Pope County. There is a little bit of broad and weak rotation with that particular storm. Not overly strong at this point in time. Then we also have a little bit of broad, weak rotation very close to the Marion area right now. Now, that storm actually did produce a confirmed tornado just a short time ago, while it was to the northeast of Makanda, just to the south of Carterville, just to the southeast of Carbondale. There was a tornado that was confirmed just a short time ago with that storm. There was actually some video evidence of that tornado having occurred as well. However, now that that storm has moved a little bit further to the east, the rotation on it has become a little bit less organized, but there is still some broad, weak rotation just on the south and southeast side of the Marion area. So that's for the Williamson County area. And then once again, we have that other storm, other supercell storm down there in Pope County, just south of Eddyville, that is also showing signs of rotation on it as well. So tornado warning for Williamson County until 4 p.m., tornado warning for portions of Pope County, and that runs until 4:15 p.m. Now, widening things out a little bit here, just to give you a little bit of a bigger view on things here, and you can see we have quite a bit of rain and thunderstorm activity going on here across southern Illinois. All of these pink boxes, these are your tornado warnings that are in effect, and then these red boxes, these are severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect. So quite a few warnings that are in place right now, and these storms are capable of producing damaging winds. They're capable of producing large hail, and they are also capable of producing some tornadoes along with them as well. So what we're expecting to have happen here over the next several hours is this big batch of showers and thunderstorms and severe weather will continue to move easterly across southern Illinois over the next couple of hours, probably through about 6 to 7 p.m. is this cluster of severe thunderstorms will continue to work through southern Illinois. Then, as we shift a little bit off screen here, let's go out a little bit to the west here, and I'm going to show you Missouri. So across Missouri, we have another round of severe thunderstorms that have now developed, and those are also producing large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes as well. So as we work later into this evening and into tonight, southern Illinois is out here, so this severe weather activity across Missouri will eventually also move into southern Illinois as we get into later this evening and into early tonight as well. So even though you're already seeing a round of severe weather in southern Illinois right now this afternoon, after this round moves out in the next couple of hours, another round of severe weather potential will then move into southern Illinois later this evening and into early tonight. So very active severe weather day, not only across the state of Illinois, but for surrounding areas as well. Zooming back out just a little bit here, there are numerous severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings, even down into western and central Kentucky, down into western and northern northern Tennessee. Several tornado warnings, several severe thunderstorm warnings down there. And then once again back out across Missouri, southwestern, south central Missouri, down around the Joplin, Springfield areas, approaching the Lebanon I-44 corridor there in central Missouri. Severe weather as well. And once again, that activity out across Missouri is going to eventually work eastward, making it into southern Illinois later this evening and into tonight as well. But zooming back in here across southern Illinois for the update once again for you folks, the good news is the tornado warning that was in effect for Williamson County has been canceled. The tornado warning that was in effect for Williamson County has been canceled. As I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, the rotation with that particular storm had become much weaker than it was before. It's a very broad, weak rotation that's still there. Not enough for a tornado warning at this point in time. So once again, the tornado warning for Williamson County has been canceled as of 3:50 p.m. Looking a little bit back to the south again, to this next storm down here in Pope County, the rotation on that supercell thunderstorm in Pope County is also very weak and very broad at this point in time. Really, there's nothing imminent showing a tornado risk down there. So while that tornado warning for Pope County does continue until 4:15 p.m. as that storm starts to approach Elizabethtown and eventually moves off into Indiana, for right now, any rotation with that particular storm is very, very weak and very pretty much unorganized at this point in time. But nonetheless, once again, tornado warning continues for Pope County, and that is until 4:15 p.m. A little bit further to the north here, we do have some severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Those severe thunderstorm warnings in effect include places like Benton, down towards let's see here, Harrisburg areas under a severe thunderstorm warning as well. So a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings here in southern Illinois as well, and these are for storms that are capable of producing some damaging winds and hail with them as well. Looks like we have a new supercell thunderstorm developing down here that we're going to have to keep a watch for as well. So several supercell-like structured storms moving across southern Illinois at this point in time. As of this moment, 3:51 p.m., once again, we only have one tornado warning in effect at this point in time, and that is for down in Pope County, the central and southern portions of Pope County, and that is until 4:15 p.m., and that is for this supercell thunderstorm just south of Eddyville that is still showing a little bit of weak, unorganized rotation with it, so nothing imminent at this point in time, but nonetheless, that tornado warning does continue for a little while longer. And then once again, a little bit off to the north here, we do have this cluster of severe thunderstorm activity here, and these storms are all capable of producing some damaging winds and hail along with them as well. I see a report here from just to the west of Herrin, and that is a report of some quarter-size hail up there, down there in Williamson County. Also see some reports of flooding in the Williamson County area for the Marion area. Some public reports of water over some roadways in the Marion area. Also see a report of some flooding in Carbondale, mentioning there's some street and road flooding in parts of Carbondale. So not only are these storms producing damaging winds and hail, but they are also producing some localized flooding, as this activity is producing some very heavy rainfall, and it is moving over the same areas. This is what we would call training activity. So this activity is developed and it is training, moving over the same corridor. So this corridor here, including the Carbondale and Marion areas here, could be looking at some localized flooding potential as well, as this activity trains and moves over the same area here over the next little while. All right, so once again, in summary here, we do have quite a bit of severe weather going on across southern Illinois this afternoon. This is the first round of activity After this activity exits in a couple hours from now, there will be a second round of activity that moves in from Missouri and then will move across southern Illinois. That'll be later this evening and into early tonight as well. So with that said here, let's take a quick look and try to get to a couple of comments and questions here. See, Jose in northern Illinois, no severe weather risk up there. You could get some showers, thunderstorms tonight and into Thursday. Tessa's checking in from Fayette County. Most of the severe weather risk is going to stay south of you for today and into tonight, but you're going to get some rain, thunderstorms off and on today and into tonight as well. Cody wondering where the confirmed tornadoes have been so far today. We've only had that one confirmed tornado, and it was just that was just about a half an hour ago off to the southeast of Carbondale, just to the south of Carterville. We had that confirmed tornado about a half an hour ago, but that obviously has since lifted, and that storm is no longer capable of producing a tornado at this particular time. David checking in here, wondering if the second round of activity coming out of Missouri later will be north or south of I-70. For the most part, that second round of activity will be south of I-70. So I-70, I just zoomed out. I-70 is up here. You can see the second round of activity back here in Missouri, and it is moving off towards the east and the east-southeast. So yes, it does look like that second round of activity for later is going to remain mostly, if not all, south of I-70 for later today. Kelly checking in from Springfield. Probably no severe weather risk up your way as it looks right now. Probably just some rain and thunderstorms. All right, here, Tina checking in from northern Illinois. You'll get some rain and thunderstorms tonight and into Thursday, but no severe weather threat up there. Doug checking in from central Illinois. The same goes for you. Some rain, thunderstorms, probably not a severe weather threat up there at this point in time. We also have Carmichael checking in from the St. Louis area. This activity, this first round of activity, actually brushed the southern part of the St. Louis area earlier as it was moving to the southeast. Now, as we go through time here, let's actually switch over to the St. Louis radar here. And we do have a couple of showers and thunderstorms developing, about to move into the St. Louis area very shortly. Some of that activity could increase in severity and become severe. Otherwise, this activity in Missouri right now looks as though it is probably going to pass to the south of the St. Louis area. So for the St. Louis area, your best chance of seeing any sort of severe thunderstorms will be if this activity developing just to your west right now strengthens as it moves in. But as it looks right now, the main stuff that eventually is going to come out of Missouri will stay south of the St. Louis metro area as we head into later this evening and into tonight as well. And it looks like we have a new tornado warning that has just been issued here. So we have a new tornado warning in effect for portions of Union and Johnson County. And this storm right here is capable of now producing a tornado. It has shown increased signs of rotation. So if you are down here, once again, in these portions of both Union and Johnson counties, you are now under a tornado warning, and that tornado warning is until 4:30 p.m. This storm here would be capable of producing a tornado down here, and it is actually moving in the direction of Goreville. So down here, once again, for portions of Union and Johnson counties, we have a tornado warning until 4:30 p.m. So two separate tornado warnings in effect right now. We do have a tornado warning for portions of... Actually, the tornado warning for Pope County was just canceled. If you've been following around for a little while now, I did mention that the rotation on this storm down here had really weakened. Well, the tornado warning for Pope County has now been canceled. Once again, the tornado warning for Pope County has been canceled. So as of right now, we have one tornado warning that is still in effect, and that tornado warning is in portions of Union and Johnson County, and that tornado warning is in effect until 4:30 p.m., and that is for this particular storm that we're going to zoom in on right here. Quite honestly, the rotation with it is not all that strong. You can see a little bit of a couplet is what we call it here. And that would be just to the northwest of the Goreville area right there. A little bit of weak, disorganized rotation. Like I said, it's not significant. It has prompted a tornado warning from the National Weather Service, but quite frankly, right now, the rotation with this particular storm is on the weak side at this point in time. And also, to be honest with you, the rotation is kind of partially outside of the tornado warning here. It kind of extends up into southern Williamson County. So really, it's weak, broad rotation right now. We kind of have the border of Union and Johnson counties right here, and then up here is Williamson County. So this is kind of right on the tri-county border of Williamson, Union, and Johnson counties right here. And quite honestly, like I said, it's a fairly weak, broad rotation at this point in time. Nothing super imminent showing that a tornado is going to form right at this point in time. But nonetheless, if you're in portions of Union, Johnson counties. Also, I would include southern Williamson County, just to the northwest of the Goreville area. This is Goreville right here, so just to the northwest of Goreville. A little bit of rotation with that particular storm. Like I said, all in all, not significant at this point in time, but it is enough that has prompted the National Weather Service to issue that tornado warning. Once again, going to be coming very close to the community of Goreville up there in parts of northern Union, northern Johnson, southern Williamson counties over here. But otherwise, we do continue to have several severe thunderstorm warnings here in effect. They include places like Benton and the Harrisburg area as well. These storms are capable of producing some damaging winds and hail with them. They actually have a history of producing some large hail as they've traversed across portions of southern Illinois over the past couple of hours as well. So that's really the story here. As we continue to go through the afternoon, we do have this one tornado warning in effect, as I mentioned. This is until 4:30 p.m., and this is for the northern portion of Union and northern portion of Johnson County here, and also up into portions of Williamson County as well. It's kind of right on the county border here, very close to Goreville. There's just a little bit of weak rotation in here. That's what prompted this tornado warning. Like I said, not showing any signs of strong rotation at this point in time, but definitely have signs of a little bit of weak rotation here showing up, and that's what we call a couplet. So when you see the reds and the greens that get close together here, it almost looks like it's forming a locked couplet here. So your reds moving away from the radar, your greens are rotating back into the radar. So that right there, that's what we call a couplet. Now it's a weak one. It's not strong. It's a weak area of rotation right now. When you start to see brighter greens and brighter reds, that would signify that you're showing some more moderate to stronger rotation. But you notice these greens and these reds are kind of on the dull side, so they're not really bright. They're not the really bright green or bright red. So that signifies here that we're dealing with a more weak rotation, very broad rotation. So like I said, it's not imminent that we could have a tornado right here, but there are some signs of at least some weak rotation, and that's why that warning was issued once again for portions of northern Union, northern Johnson counties, including the community of Goreville. And also, I would include, even though you're not technically in the warning from the National Weather Service, I would include southern Marion County here as well, because Marion County, that rotation is pretty much right on the border of southern, not Marion County, Williamson County here as well. So that's the main storm to watch for right now that's showing at least a little bit of rotation. Like I said, it is definitely not strong rotation. And then we have these other storms here. We have one supercell structured storm here just to the north of Elizabethtown. We have another supercell structured storm here that's about to move into Harrisburg. Another one weakening just south of Benton. We have this one coming just north of the Goreville area, so we have 4 different strong to severe thunderstorms ongoing across southern Illinois at this point in time. And remember, this is the first round of activity. After this first round of activity moves off towards the east-southeast over the next couple of hours, we may see a little bit of a break move in. And then after that break, look what's lingering out here to the west. Look at all these warning boxes and all this activity. So this activity in Missouri will eventually work east and east-southeast into southern Illinois several hours from now as we work into later this evening and early tonight. So once this first round of activity that you're seeing across southern Illinois moves out, do not let your guard down, because there will be a second round of activity that moves through. So with that said here, let's try to get to a couple more comments and questions. All right, here, Natalie checking in from Marion. Marion, you are getting some showers and thunderstorms still right now. After this first round moves through, you will see another round of severe weather being possible as we head into late evening and early tonight. Faith wondering about southern Illinois. This is southern Illinois that we are talking about right here, right now. Michaela checking in from the Salem area. That's also down there in the southern Illinois area. You will also be getting in on that severe weather risk as we continue through the evening and into early night tonight. Different Michaela, checking in from the Carbondale area. This first round of activity is almost over for you. You're still getting some rain and thunderstorms in Carbondale right now, but this first round will be coming to an end for the Carbondale area very soon, and then we will watch for that second round of activity to move into the Carbondale area later this evening and into tonight as well. See Rosie checking in from out in the Carmi area. The good news is the main severe weather risk is going to stay to your south. Carmi is up here, and all of this activity is kind of moving down to the east-southeast of you. So you'll get some rain and thunderstorms up there, but as it looks right now, best severe weather chance will stay to your south. Anna checking in from Harvard and Streamwood. No severe weather risk up there today. Tim wondering if we're heading into an active severe weather season. Well, it has been a very active start to the severe weather season so far since pretty much the middle of March. Actually, since late February through March, now April and May. It has definitely been a very active severe weather situation so far this season. All right, here, let's get to some more questions. See Susan checking in from Redbud. That's well to the south of the Belleville area here. And you could have more activity working your way as well, so Redbud's kind of out here in southwestern Illinois. This activity is moving east and east-southeast, so it'll be really close to see whether or not you get any more severe weather activity around your area, but I would not rule it out. It is definitely possible at this point in time. Renee checking in from up in Oswego. Nothing in northern Illinois. I repeat, no severe weather threat in northern Illinois. You'll get some rain and thunderstorms tonight and into Thursday, but nothing too significant. Sierra checking in from Belleville area. Let's head back up there. That's around the St. Louis metro area, so Belleville's here, St. Louis is here. Most of this severe weather activity does look like it will stay south of St. Louis for the remainder of the evening, but I would not totally rule out an isolated severe weather risk up there. There's actually some showers and thunderstorms about to move into the St. Louis and Belleville areas, so could see an isolated severe weather risk there, but the most significant risk will stay south of St. Louis for the remainder of this event. And I do see that there's a lot more comments and questions coming in here. I'm not going to get to all of them. I'll tell you that right now, just because there are so many flowing in at this point in time, but I am trying to get to as many of them as I can. Gage checking in from Jacksonville, up there. Showers and thunderstorms possible. Maybe an isolated severe weather risk, but quite honestly, the severe weather risk is probably going to generally stay south of Jacksonville for the remainder of today. Really, all in all, the greatest severe weather risk today was always going to be across southern Illinois, and that is indeed the case as we see playing out here. So once again, let's just do a little bit of a radar summary once again. It is now 4:08 p.m., and we have the first round of rain, thunderstorms, and severe weather working in across southern Illinois. This activity is moving generally east and east-southeast across southern Illinois here this afternoon. We do have several strong to severe thunderstorms occurring here, a couple of severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warnings in effect here as we approach 4:10 p.m. And this activity is going to continue, like I said, to move east and east-southeast across southern Illinois over the next couple of hours through the remainder of late this afternoon and into very early this evening. Now, once this first round of activity moves out of southern Illinois, we might see just a little bit of a break here. So you'll notice there's a little bit of a lull here. Not much going on over here right now. So after this first round moves out, this lull may move in just for a brief time, so it might quiet down for a brief time. And then all of this activity out here in Missouri is going to be moving off towards the east and the southeast, and it'll eventually move it into a good chunk of central Illinois here. Pretty much this chunk of central Illinois will have the greatest threat for severe weather with the second round of activity. So just because things may quiet down after this first round of activity, it looks very likely that we could see a second round of activity as well. So that's something we're definitely going to be watching for as we move through the next several hours through this evening and through tonight as well. So let's check back in on our tornado warning here. So the tornado warning that was issued for Union and Johnson counties, that storm is almost completely out of the warning now. The area of rotation, which I got to tell you, isn't really all there that much anymore. This storm pretty much almost has no rotation now, being completely honest with you. So I fully expect the tornado warning that was in effect for Union and Johnson counties, they could probably go ahead and cancel that right now because there is no longer a threat for those areas that were in that warning. So once again, for the areas that were in the tornado warning here for Union and Johnson County up near the community of Goreville, the threat has now come to an end for you. I totally expect them to cancel that tornado warning very soon. And quite frankly, this storm is pretty much all the way up in Williamson County now. The storm is pretty much up in Williamson County now, and the rotation with it is almost non-existent at this point in time. So I'd say the threat from this storm that's just to the south of Marion, coming through Goreville, Creel Springs here, this storm, the tornado threat is pretty much very, very low to almost non-existent at this point in time. So I fully expect that tornado warning for Union and Johnson counties to be canceled here fairly shortly. A little bit further to the east here, we have a supercell thunderstorm just to the north of Elizabethtown. This is right along the Illinois-Indiana border. That is going to be moving off into Indiana very shortly. It is not severe and not tornado warned at this point in time. This is more so just a strong thunderstorm here moving off to the east into Indiana very shortly. We also have this supercell structured storm here very close to the Harrisburg, Carrier Mills area, closing in on El Dorado, going to be moving towards Equality eventually as well, Shawneetown, Ridgeway, eventually moving off into Indiana. This storm is a little bit more interesting because this one is showing a little bit more of a weak signature of some broad, weak rotation here, very close to Carrier Mills, just to the south of the Harrisburg area. You can see winds going away from the radar here, winds coming towards the radar here. So a little bit of weak, broad rotation right in the middle there. Once again, that's just to the south of Harrisburg, just past to the east of Carrier Mills, very close to Mitchellsville as well here. That would be on State Route 34 coming out of the Harrisburg area. Just a little bit of broad, weak rotation here that we're going to watch. And this is generally moving off towards the east, Eventually, we'll be heading towards the Equality community, also towards Shawneetown, and then eventually it's going to cross the Indiana border, which is out here. So this storm, with its weak rotation, is heading off in that direction. So like I said, Equality, Shawneetown, Harrisburg, Mitchellsville, all of you folks have this storm coming in, capable of producing some damaging winds and hail, but it is also showing a little bit of sign of weak rotation with it as well. All right, here, let's jump back over and try to get to a couple more comments and questions here. See Deborah checking in, wondering when the second round of activity will be. So after this first round clears out in a couple of hours, we might see a lull in activity, and I could show you that on the radar here once again. So here's our first round of activity impacting southern Illinois right now. This activity is going to move off towards the east, so in a couple of hours, it will be gone and out of southern Illinois, that first round. Then we may see a lull. You can see there's not much going on here right now. That lull will move into southern Illinois. And then for later this evening and into early tonight, you could see that next round of activity out there in Missouri. That is eventually going to work into southern Illinois. So late evening into early tonight is when that next round, let's say mid-evening. So mid-evening into early tonight is going to be the second round across southern Illinois. And with that said, if you might recall just a moment ago, I was mentioning that there was some weak rotation in the Harrisburg area. Well, that has prompted the National Weather Service to now issue a tornado warning. So that tornado warning is now in effect for portions of Saline and Gallatin County there in southeastern Illinois, and that is in effect until 4:45 p.m. So this storm, potentially capable of producing a tornado, is showing some rotation right in this area right now. So Carrier, Mills, Mitchellville, very near the Harrisburg area, and this storm is moving off towards the east as well. So once again, the storm is capable of producing a tornado with it. Tornado warning has been issued, as I mentioned, for these areas. So if you're in places like Mitchellsville right now, Mitchellsville, just south of the Harrisburg area, over towards Equality, and eventually over towards Shawneetown as well. All of these storms are capable of producing some damaging winds, hail, and this storm in particular is also capable of producing a tornado as well. So once again, if you're just south of the Harrisburg area right now, that is one of the areas that we are focusing in on at this point in time for the potential of a tornado with this storm. And once again, this tornado warning is in effect until 4:45 p.m. for portions of Saline and Gallatin counties down here in southern Illinois. Once again, this storm capable of producing right now a tornado just to the south of the Harrisburg area. Let's look at the radar here. It's just about to update. But you can see a little bit of broad, weak rotation in here. Oh, there we go. It just updated, so it shifted a little bit to the east. So right here, right now, this is our spot that we're watching for. You can see how things are starting to increase. So right here, there is some rotation that is increasing very close to Mitchellsville right now. So if you're in Mitchellsville or just to the north of Mitchellsville, up State Route 34, just to the south of the Harrisburg area, this storm is capable of producing a tornado at this point in time. Definitely some rotation at this point in time on this particular storm. Well, we're going to continue to watch this because it is going to continue to move off towards the east here. So once again, tornado warning for portions of Saline and Gallatin counties down here in southern Illinois, and that tornado warning is in effect until 4:45 p.m. Once again, the rotation with this storm is showing up right near Mitchellsville. This is State Route 34 coming out of Harrisburg to Mitchellsville, and that's pretty much right where the rotation is crossing at this point in time. So once again, if you're near Mitchellsville here, that is where our rotation is showing up, and this is heading off in an easterly direction. So if you live south of Equality over to near Shawneetown, that is where this rotation is heading. Also, a little bit further to the west, we have a new tornado warning in effect, and this is for a confirmed tornado. So remember the storm before that had weakened a little bit and it had lost its rotation? They canceled the tornado warning on it. Well, guess what? We now have new rotation on that storm and a new tornado warning. And this one is coming into the Creel Springs area. So this tornado warning is in effect for portions of Pope, Johnson, Williamson, and Saline counties. This storm has a confirmed tornado on the ground near Creel Springs here. As you can see, there is some rotation here right on the screen. So once again, confirmed tornado approaching the Creel Springs area right now. And once again, this tornado warning is in effect for portions of Pope, Johnson, Williamson, and Saline counties. And this is in effect until 4:45 p.m. So we now have two storms capable of producing tornadoes at this point in time. The first one over here with rotation near Mitchellsville. The second storm just to the west, and that one just to the west is near the Creel Springs area. So both of these storms are capable of producing tornadoes at this point in time. All right, here. So once again, it is now 4:20 p.m. and we do have two supercell thunderstorms down here in southern Illinois, and they both have tornado warnings. They both are capable of producing tornadoes. The one on the left over Creel Springs is producing a tornado. The one to the right near Mitchellsville is not confirmed at this point in time, but it is showing signs of rotation. All right, here, and it does look like we have a third tornado warning that was just issued for this other storm. Now, this storm originally had a severe thunderstorm warning on it a little while ago, but they did take that warning away, but now they've reissued as now a tornado warning here. So this is going to be to the north of the Elizabethtown area. We now have a tornado warning. And this is going to be just to the north of Elizabethtown right here. And that tornado warning is in effect for portions of Hardin County. And that's in southeastern Illinois. So the tornado warning for Hardin County, southeastern Illinois, that goes until 4:45 p.m. So we now have 3 tornado warnings in effect at this point in time. Let's back out just a little bit here just to give you a wide view. We do have 3 separate supercell thunderstorms now here in southern and southeastern Illinois. And all 3 of these storms are capable of producing a tornado. So once again, all 3 of these storms are capable of producing a tornado at this point in time. And they are all moving off in an easterly direction overall. And the storm on the right here, the storm on the left, this one near Creel Springs, this storm has had a confirmed tornado with it as of just a little while ago. So the storm near Creel Springs, that storm had a confirmed tornado with it just a short little while ago. And as we switch back over here to the radar wind velocity, let's look to see how things are going with some of the rotation on these storms. So here's the first storm down here by Elizabethtown. That one is showing a little bit of rotation. That's in Hardin County. This storm south of Harrisburg, little rotation. And then this storm near Creel Springs is producing the confirmed tornado at this point in time. So a lot of activity going on right now across southern Illinois. We have 3 separate tornado warnings that are in effect at this point in time across southern Illinois as well. Once again, we have a confirmed tornado near Creel Springs, which is well to the south of the Marion area. We have a good bit of rotation right now just south of Harrisburg. with that storm, and then we have another one just to the north of Elizabethtown, and that storm is also capable of producing a tornado at this point in time as well. So we have quite a bit of severe weather activity ongoing right now across southern Illinois. Several tornado warnings are in effect at this point in time as well. And as we zoom back in here a little bit, let's take a look at things once again on a little bit more of a zoomed in look here. And it does look like, let's go double panel here because I do want to look at this a little bit closer. But it does look like there may be a tornado right in there right now. So just to the, this would be just to the northeast of Mitchellsville, just to the southwest of Harrisburg. There are some signs that there may be a tornado right now, right in that area, right here. A little bit of a damage indicator showing up possibly briefly there. So if you are to the southeast of Harrisburg right now, if you are to the southeast of Harrisburg, just to the northeast of Mitchellsville, it does look like we potentially may be dealing with a tornado right now. So once again, just to the southeast of Harrisburg, just to the northeast of Mitchellsville. Mitchellsville may be a tornado on the ground right now. They're showing some increased signs of rotation right now, and maybe a little bit of a sign of a little bit of a damage indicator here on our correlation coefficient, excuse me. Yeah, I'm going to guess that there may be a tornado on the ground right now, right here. Once again, this is just to the southeast of Harrisburg, just to the northeast of Mitchellsville right here. That is where it does look possible that we may be dealing with a tornado on the ground right now. And this is Saline County. So this is southern portions of Saline County here. This would be, like I said, just to the northeast of Mitchellsville, just to the southeast of Harrisburg. It does look very likely that there may be a tornado on the ground right now. You can see this little circle right here where we go from reds and yellows and we get that little blue right here. That could be an indication, quite possibly, that we are seeing a tornado on the ground right now. I'd say it's probably very likely there's a tornado on the ground right now. Once again, this is just to the northeast of Mitchellsville, just to the southeast of Harrisburg, and this is in southern Saline County. So let's back out a little bit here, go back to the single panel screen here to give you an idea overall of what we are dealing with. So once again, are dealing with 3 separate supercell thunderstorms. They are all capable of producing damaging winds, hail, and some tornadoes along with them as well. So let's circle them here. Here's one supercell thunderstorm. This is Hardin County. This one's moving to the east. This is the other supercell thunderstorm. This one's moving through Saline and Gallatin counties. And then there's this supercell thunderstorm as well that's moving through portions of Williamson, Johnson, and eventually going to be moving up into Saline County as well. So 3 separate supercell thunderstorms here, and they are all capable of producing tornadoes. It was just a little while ago, this was probably about maybe 15 minutes ago or so now, we did have that confirmed tornado a little while ago near Creel Springs. And now, seeing some signs that we probably have a tornado. I'd say it's pretty likely that we have a tornado on the ground right now, and it does look like the National Weather Service has confirmed that. So there is a tornado on the ground right now to the northeast of Mitchellsville and to the southeast of Harrisburg. So once again, this is southern Saline County. The border for Saline County is kind of like this. So this is southern Saline County. Here's Mitchellsville. Here's Harrisburg. So this tornado is on the ground to the southeast of Harrisburg, to the northeast of Mitchellsville, and it is moving off towards the east here. So here's Equality up here. If you live south of Equality, or even if you're in Equality, definitely would suggest you take shelter, as this storm is producing a tornado right now in southeastern Saline County, and it is continuing to move off towards the east as well. So once again, here's Mitchellsville right here. Here's Harrisburg up here, and here is the tornado on the ground right here, and this is moving off towards the east. All right here. So backing out a little bit once again here. So we continue to have a tornado warning in effect for Saline and Gallatin counties until 3:45 p.m. We have a tornado warning for Hardin County until 4:45 p.m. 4:45 p.m. We also have the tornado warning for portions of Williamson, Saline, and Johnson counties. That one is until 4:45 p.m. as well. So all three of these tornado warnings are all in effect until 4:45 p.m. Now, these storms eventually here over the next hour to hour and a half or so, these storms are going to be moving eastward into Indiana. So the Indiana border is pretty much, loops around quite a bit. So this is the Indiana border right here, roughly. So all of these storms are going to be moving towards and eventually crossing the Indiana border here over the next hour to hour and a half or so, as it looks at this point in time. So if you do happen to live over the border here into Kentucky, into Kentucky and Indiana here, definitely keep an eye out for these storms because they will be heading your way. Sturgis, Kentucky. We have Uniontown, which is right on the Kentucky-Indiana border, up towards Mount Vernon, Indiana. All this activity will be heading off into Indiana and Kentucky over the next hour to hour and a half or so. But for right now, they are our problem here in southern Illinois because we do continue to have these storms, these severe thunderstorms, tornado-warned storms, all three. These are supercell thunderstorms here. You can see one supercell thunderstorm here, two supercell thunderstorms, and then this third one's a little bit on the smaller, weaker side overall. But all three of these storms have shown signs of rotation. All three of these storms do have tornado warnings with them as well, and they continue to track off towards the east, and they are capable of producing some tornadoes as well. So we're going to continue to stay with you. As long as these tornado warnings are in effect, we will stay with you with this live coverage. Backing out a little bit once again, I just want to give you the wide view of what we have going on here. So once again, this first round of severe weather is affecting southern Illinois, obviously, right now. It's 4:30 p.m. right now. We have the severe weather affecting southern Illinois right now. This activity is going to continue to drift off towards the east-southeast, eventually moving into Indiana and Kentucky over the next couple of hours. After that activity, the first round moves out, we're going to get a little bit of a break here. You can see things are kind of quiet, so that break will move in for a little while. And then look at all of this activity out here across Missouri. This will eventually move in during the mid to late evening and into early tonight. So even once this first round of activity moves out, you will have a second round of activity mid to late evening and into early tonight across southern Illinois. And all of that activity could produce damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes as well. So the action is going to continue. All right, with that said, let's take another close view here on these three tornado-warned storms. So first of all, starting off with the tornado warning for Hardin County, and that's until 4:45 p.m. for this supercell thunderstorm. Taking a look here, there is some rotation still, but at this time it's very broad and weak rotation. We are looking off to it would be off to the northeast of Elizabethtown, off to the northwest of Cave in Rock here. And that's pretty much where our rotational signature is at this point in time. Like I said, it's not all that strong right now, but there is some weak, broad rotation with this tornado warning in Hardin County. Here's Elizabethtown. So this is well off to the northeast of Elizabethtown. This is Cave in Rock right here. So this is going to be just to the northwest. Coming into the north side of the Cave in Rock community here. So once again, a little bit of broad, weak rotation with this tornado warning in Hardin County, and that is going to drift off to the east, eventually going off into portions of Kentucky here over the next hour or so. Now, drifting a little bit off to the north here, our next storm. This storm is in portions of Saline and Gallatin counties. That tornado warning is in effect until 4:45 as well. So taking a little bit of a closer view here, this storm did produce a tornado just a short time ago to the southeast of Harrisburg. So there was a tornado to the southeast of Harrisburg just a short time ago. Now that area of rotation has opened up a little bit more here. It's a little bit more of a broad area of rotation, but that rotation is still capable of producing a tornado, and this rotation is generally heading off in an easterly direction. So if you are in Equality or just south of Equality, or if you're out here in Shawneetown, you might want to seek shelter. All of you folks are under a tornado warning in this area of rotation, which has produced a tornado a short time ago. This area of rotation is capable of producing a tornado still, and it looks like we just got a report as of about 5 minutes ago. So as of about 5 minutes ago, there still was a tornado on the ground with this. So here's our area of rotation. It's going to continue to move off towards the east. So once again, if you're in Equality or just to the south of Equality, or if you're in Shawneetown, definitely going to want to seek shelter, as this storm is capable of producing a tornado. Now, drifting a little bit back to the west here, our other tornado warned storm. This one is in Williamson County and now moving into Saline County as well. This tornado warning in effect until 4:45 as well. Now, looking at the rotational signature, honestly, there's really not much of one at this point in time. Now, obviously, these things can change very quickly, but with this next one, it's very close to Stonefort right now, right along U.S. Route 45 here. There's really not too much rotation at this point in time with that storm. Let's switch back over to the radar. You can see storm does still have a nice hook with it, but the rotational signature right now isn't all that strong. But storm capable of producing a tornado moving from Williamson now into southwestern Saline County. Very close to Stonefort right there. Very small community down there. Going to be coming in just to the south of Carrier Mills as well. So 3 separate supercell thunderstorms that we are watching for. They are all capable of producing some hail with them and also some tornado potential with them as well. So we have a lot that we're watching for, a lot that's going on across southern Illinois right now, and we are going to stay with you with this live coverage here as long as these tornado warnings are in effect. All right, here, let's check the video chat. It's been a while since we've been able to check that, but do want to briefly look. See Rhea checking in here, wondering if this is Illinois. Well, we are the Illinois Storm Chasers. Yes, this is southern Illinois here that we are focusing in on. We do not cover any other state. We only cover the weather here across the state of Illinois. So yes, this is Illinois. This is southern Illinois where the severe weather risk is going on. See some folks tuning in from northern and central Illinois. See Amanda up in Ladd, Amanda, Bureau County, Joy up in LaSalle County as well. No severe weather threat for you. Joseph up in northern Illinois, no severe weather threat up there. You'll get some rain and thunderstorms later tonight and into Thursday as it looks, though. All right here, so going back to our current radar here as we continue to watch these 3 supercell thunderstorms as they continue to move eastward and they continue to be capable of producing tornadoes. So our first supercell thunderstorm here, this is down in Hardin County. This is about to move into Kentucky very, very shortly, but just to the north of the Cave-In Rock community, there's the possibility of a tornado as that storm eventually pushes off into Kentucky in a very brief moment here. We also have this big supercell thunderstorm here, capable of producing a tornado just to the south of Equality. That's going to be moving off towards the Shawneetown community here very shortly. And then this supercell storm back here near the Carrier Mills, the Stonefort area, that's moving into southwestern Saline County. That one's a little bit weaker. That one's going to continue to move off towards the east across southern portions of Saline County as well. So 3 separate supercell thunderstorms here, and all 3 of these storms are capable of producing some tornadoes with them. They are showing, some of them showing signs of broad rotation at this point in time. Let's take another look at that again. So for the storm down in Hardin County, still a little bit of weak broad rotation here. Nothing imminent saying a tornado is going to happen right now, but there is some broad weak rotation in that tornado warning across Hardin County. and that's once again just to the north of Cave-in Rock. That's going to be very shortly moving towards Sturgis, Kentucky. So that storm is very shortly going to become a problem for Kentucky. We have also this storm up in the Equality area. Rotation with that one has become, I should say, very weak and very unorganized rotation with that storm now. That weak, broad area of rotation continues to move off towards the east. So once again, if you're south of Equality, south of Shawneetown, that's where the biggest threat with that potential storm and a potential tornado could be as well. And then for this other storm, there's still just a little bit of weak, broad rotation to the south of Carrier Mills, very close to Stonefort here. This is in southwestern Saline County. So 3 storms here, 3 of them still capable of producing tornadoes. Honestly, the rotational signatures with all 3 storms are fairly weak at this particular moment in time. But nonetheless, we do continue to watch things as this activity, I'm going to put this in motion now just to give you an idea of where this activity has been moving and where it is going to continue to move here. So as you can see with the radar in motion here, you can see these storms are moving off in an easterly and an east-southeasterly direction here, and they are going to continue to do so over the next couple of hours. So you'll see out here, this area has started to clear out. So if you're in Carbondale up towards Sparta, this area has really started to clear out now. But don't let your guard down, because as we move back to the west here, you can notice this activity coming out of Missouri is eventually going to start to move in here. You see this activity? This activity is all going to move southeastward into southern Illinois here by mid to late evening, continuing into early tonight as well. So the severe weather threat is not done for you folks in southern Illinois after this round of activity, because you will most definitely be getting more as we continue to carry on here over the next couple to several hours. All right, here, let's try to check some of these warnings to see if we have any updates. No updates on any of these warnings at this point in time. So once again, based on radar here, areas of rotation with all 3 of these storms, it's fairly weak at this point in time. We have our storm down in Hardin County. We have our storm that is now up in Gallatin County. And then our other storm that's in far southwestern Saline County. All 3 of these storms do have a little bit of weak, broad rotation with them. Nothing significant at this point in time, but all 3 of them, I should say, all 3 of these storms do continue to have a tornado warning for another 5 minutes. So right now, it is 4:40 p.m. So these tornado warnings, all 3 of these tornado warnings go for another 5 minutes until 4:45 p.m. So tornado warning for Hardin County until 4:45 p.m. Tornado warning for Gallatin County until 4:45 p.m. And also this tornado warning for this other storm coming out of into Saline County until 4:45 p.m. So these tornado warnings are only in effect for a couple minutes longer. So as long as we have these tornado warnings in effect, we'll continue to stay with you with the live coverage of this activity here as we continue now to push later and later into this evening. All right, here, let's see if I could get any more new information on this activity. Not really seeing anything, significantly new pop up regarding any of these warnings at this point in time. As I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, the rotational signatures, you really can't even make them out anymore. So the very broad rotational signature there, there's really not much of one left here, and then also here. That is where the rotation would be. But quite frankly, at this point in time, it does not look like any of these storms are really capable of producing a tornado at this point in time anymore. Definitely seeing a weakening trend on these, and these tornado warnings are set to expire in another couple of minutes, and I fully expect those to expire. Not really seeing much in the way of rotational signatures on radar anymore, so I'd say definitely expect to see these 3 storms have their tornado warnings canceled here within the next couple of minutes. So we're going to continue to watch here, though, for a little while longer with you. These 3 supercell storms, as they continue to move off towards the east here. Once again, the Indiana border is right along here, and then Kentucky border kind of comes down through here. So this is Kentucky. This is Indiana up here. And this first storm is now moving into Kentucky towards the Sturgis community in northwestern Kentucky. This storm here near Equality, Ridgeway, and Shawneetown, this one is about to move into the Kentucky-Indiana border region. And then this smaller supercell storm is eventually going to move across southern Saline counties, in Gallatin County is eventually moving off into northern Kentucky here. So all of this activity is moving east. It is going to move off into far southern Indiana and northern Kentucky here over the next hour or so. But as for right now, these 3 tornado warnings are set to expire at 4:45 p.m. So just 2 more minutes, and quite frankly, I do not expect those to be reissued at this point in time. Really, there's not much in the way of rotation showing up with either of these 3 areas right now. So the tornado threat is pretty much done with for right now with these particular storms. No signs of rotation on radar at this point in time from any of these 3 storms. So let's see what they do here. I believe they're just going to let these warnings expire. That would be my best guess because, like I said, not really seeing much in the way of rotational signatures with these storms at this point in time. So with that said, while we wait to see what they do with those warnings, let's just back out once more just for a full recap and summary on things, and then we're probably going to go ahead and end this discussion for now. Oh, there we go. So all 3 tornado warnings have expired. The tornado warning for Hardin County has expired. The tornado warning that was for Saline and Gallatin counties has expired. The tornado warning that was for Johnson, Pope, Saline, and Williamson counties has expired. All tornado warnings have now expired. Or did they reissue one? It looks like they might have reissued one. Yes, they did. So they did reissue a tornado warning here, which is very surprising because there's not much rotation with that. But for you folks down here in far eastern Hardin County here, very close to the Kentucky border, there is still a tornado warning that was just newly issued here. It's kind of surprising that they did issue that because there's not much rotation with it. But tornado warning for Hardin County just for a little while longer. This storm is literally about to move into Kentucky, though. So once again, tornado warning for far eastern Hardin County. But that storm, as you can see here, is just moving into Kentucky now, towards Sturgis, Kentucky. So once again, tornado warning for Hardin County just for a little while longer. That storm is moving into Kentucky. Otherwise, as a quick summary here, we do have this first round of severe weather activity that has been moving across southern Illinois over the past several hours. It is going to continue to move eastward across southern Illinois over the next 1, 2, 3 hours before it moves off into Indiana and Kentucky. After that, you can see we do have a little bit of a lull here, a little bit of a break in activity that's going to transition off to the east as well. Then you can see all of this activity out here across Missouri. That is going to start to move into southern Illinois as we get into this evening and early tonight. So the first round of activity going to be coming to an end across southern Illinois soon, within the next 1, 2, maybe 3 hours. Then we're going to see the second round of activity across Missouri. It's going to transition and traverse southern Illinois over the next several hours, more so when we get into this evening and into early tonight, and all modes of severe weather will be possible with that activity as well. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and end our live coverage this afternoon for right now. As the first round of activity starts to exit southern Illinois, we're going to get a little bit of a break, and then the next round of significant severe weather activity will start to move in as we go through this evening, continuing into early tonight as well. So we'll be around here for the remainder of this evening and into tonight, providing you additional updates, whether it's social media posts or live video coverage as well. So stay tuned to our social media pages for that. But for now, Southern Illinois, first round of activity about to exit. You're going to get a brief break and then a second round of severe weather activity for this evening and into early tonight.